In the dead of night, 3 armed men slip quietly across the Israeli border, carrying AK-47s from a hidden cache in Egypt. They navigate the vast, dark expanse of the Negev desert completely undetected, until they hijack a passing civilian car. Intelligence intercepts soon reveal the vehicle is heading straight for a highly sensitive location, the Dimona nuclear reactor. Realizing the military is closing in to protect the reactor, the men pivot, hijacking a commuter bus carrying workers home from the plant. Security forces surround the vehicle, but the gunmen turn their weapons on the hostages inside. Commandos storm the bus and kill the hijackers within seconds, but 3 innocent workers die in the crossfire. 2 of those victims were young mothers. The resulting national outrage over what becomes known as the Mother's Bus attack reaches the highest levels of government. Defense Minister Itzhak Rabin demands an immediate lethal response. Striking mothers and civilians rather than military targets hit a raw nerve. Israel's borders had been breached, its nuclear workers targeted, and its domestic security deeply compromised. A standard arrest or local raid would not suffice. The government required a demonstration of absolute power. Israeli intelligence quickly points to the man they believe organized the raid. His real name is Khalil al-Wazir, but he is universally known as Abu Jihad, the number 2 leader in the Palestinian Liberation Organization and head of its military operations. But Abu Jihad represents a much larger problem. For months, the Palestinian territories have been consumed by widespread protests, riots, and violence. The Israelis are convinced that Abu Jihad is the puppet master orchestrating this relentless civilian uprising. The strategic logic inside the defense ministry is straightforward. Cut off the head of the PLO's military wing, and the unrest paralyzing the streets will instantly collapse. There is a severe logistical hurdle. As the snap traces, the target isn't hiding nearby in the West Bank or Gaza. He is living safely in a seaside villa in Tunis, North Africa, a full 1,500 miles from Israeli shores. To stop the domestic crisis, the military will have to launch an intricate, cross-continental assassination deep inside an enemy sanctuary, completely undetected. To execute a hit of this magnitude, Rabin turns to Sayeret Matkal, an elite reconnaissance and assassination unit. The man tasked with planning the strike is the unit's former commander, highly decorated soldier Ehud Barak. Barak mobilizes a massive fleet to cross the Mediterranean, missile boats to transport the commandos, an airborne jamming jet for electronic warfare, and a squadron of rescue helicopters in the wings. But underneath this heavy military blanket, the actual strike requires surgical precision. Mossad agents operating undercover in Tunis map every inch of the target's home. They count the guard posts, measure the distance between rooms, and note the exact locks on the doors. Using this intelligence, Sayeret Matkal builds a physical replica of the villa in Israel, running the assault and again until every footstep is memorized. Yet one variable remains dangerously unpredictable. Mossad agents can drive the commandos from the beach to the neighborhood, but the soldiers still have to walk the final few hundred yards to the villa, right through heavily policed local streets. Barak reaches into his operational playbook from a previous mission in Beirut. To avoid drawing attention, the heavily armed operators will disguise themselves as civilian tourists, with several men dressed as women to pose as romantic couples enjoying a late-night stroll. Sayeret Matkal approaches the chaos of warfare as an engineering problem. By building physical models and scripting every movement, they attempt to reduce a hostile capital city into a perfectly controlled theater stage. At 1 a.m., naval commandos row the Sayeret Matkal operators ashore to a dark Tunisian beach. They shed their wetsuits, change into civilian disguises, and link up with the Mossad agents waiting in rented cars. As they wait for the final green light, a problem emerges. Intelligence intercepts a frantic phone call to Abu Jihad from PLO headquarters. An allied European intelligence agency has warned them that an Israeli hit team is on the move. Mossad agents report seeing people coming and going from the villa, but cannot confirm if the target has fled. Barak establishes a hard operational boundary. He will not authorize the breach until his team secures 100% positive voice identification from inside the specific house. To force him onto the phone, Israeli agents orchestrate a highly elaborate ruse. Posing as a frantic Palestinian, the agent screams that a distant relative of Abu Jihad has just been arrested and tortured. This diagram demonstrates the signal routing. A call from an underground base in Tel Aviv spoofs an international line to the Tunis villa. 3 separate Arabic language experts listen closely to the live feed. A voice comes on the line, trying to calm calming caller down. One by one, the experts raise their hands, independently verifying that the voice belongs to Abu Jihad. The target is home. The strike team moves in. Disguised as a couple asking for directions, the point man approaches a guard sitting in a Mercedes outside the gate. Concealed beneath an innocuous box of chocolates, the commando holds a suppressed weapon. He eliminates the guard instantly. 8 operators storm the house. They breach the upper floor, neutralizing the remaining bodyguards. A young officer locates Abu Jihad and opens fire, hitting him with 70 rounds. Despite the high adrenaline, the team's discipline holds. When his wife screams out, the operators deliberately point their weapons away and order her to the wall, leaving her unharmed. In mere minutes, the highest-ranking military commander of the PLO is dead, and the strike team vanishes back into the sea without a single Israeli casualty. By executing an operation across thousands of miles of hostile territory, Israel proves it can physically reach anyone, anywhere. Back home, the intelligence and military communities celebrate the safe return of their soldiers. Tactically, it is an astonishing triumph of planning and execution. But strategically, the mission immediately backfires. Rather than crushing the civilian uprising, news of Abu Jihad's assassination triggers massive outrage, resulting in the single bloodiest day of protests since the unrest began. The Defense Ministry realizes they have made a severe miscalculation. The assumption that killing one man would stop the riots was based on entirely flawed intelligence regarding his actual influence. Look at this organizational chart representing the intelligence failure. Israel operated under the assumption on the left, a rigid, top-down military hierarchy where Abu Jihad gave the orders. The reality was the diagram on the right. The uprising was an organic, decentralized web driven by angry young people in the streets. The PLO was simply claiming credit for an insurrection they didn't actually control. The failure to stop the violence did not slow down the career of the mission's architect. Ehud Barak's reputation as a tactical genius during the raid would later propel him to the office of prime minister. The assault on the villa remains a subject of intense military study. It proves that extreme preparation can overcome immense geographic and defensive barriers. But it also demonstrates a harsh reality of conflict. A perfectly aimed bullet provides absolutely no strategic value if you pull the trigger on the wrong target.